These are indicators of a violent nature that can be taken out on human beings, and yet the sentencing doesn't reflect that.
Mecklenburg County's top prosecutor on the seriousness of animal abuse offenses like animal cruelty and dogfighting. But as you heard there, District Attorney Spencer Merriweather says North Carolina's laws do not provide teeth to the punishment for these crimes. The DA responding to questions over a recent case in Charlotte where the dogfighter pleaded guilty to a slew of felony and misdemeanor charges. His punishment: he surrenders dozens of dogs in his care and faces a 5-year ban on owning animals. No fine, no jail time related to the animal offenses. Animal advocates say this is just the latest example of North Carolina lagging behind most of the country in its animal protections.
If someone is willing to harm an animate being, that we know that it's not that much of a leap and a jump before they commit that same sort of violence before a human being.
And yet, Mecklenburg District Attorney Spencer Merriweather says North Carolina's laws don't punish animal abusers accordingly.
Even the most serious offenses for animal cruelty and dogfighting sort of top out at what is commonly referred to as a low-level felony, a Class H felony. So for each of those, a judge could sentence someone to a prison sentence, but it's more likely that they would serve a probationary sentence.
Such was the case in October when Earl Hamilton pleaded guilty to 32 charges related to dogfighting and animal cruelty and walked away with what some animal advocates called
absolutely a slap on the wrist.
Looking at first offenses for dogfighting, and North Carolina is in the bottom 10% of all states.
John McHugh is with the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals and leads efforts to strengthen animal legislation in the Carolinas. He says North Carolina has quite a bit of work to do with no major changes to animal policy in decades.
We introduced a bill this past session to increase the penalty from a Class H to a Class F felony, which would put us in the big middle third of all states in terms of a first offense.
He says that measure, Senate Bill 457, would have offered the likelihood of prison time for even first-time dogfighters. The legislation, however, did not pass, failing to make it out of committee.
None of these issues get any traction if we don't have advocates that are elected officials that push for them.
Merriweather says sometimes that takes citizens making the push to elected officials.
To let them know that it's important to them and maybe should be more than just a Class H felony, that they should be taken seriously as an indicator of violence, not just to animals, but to human beings as well.
Now, after the holidays, we are taking these concerns to Raleigh, and we will hear from those who we chose to make the laws. We're going to bring you what they have to say in January. In the meantime, if you want to reach out to the folks who represent you directly, we have the links to do so right now inside the WCNC Charlotte mobile app. Just look for this story.